December 2018, I made a decision. I will spend the rest of my life crying aloud, sparing not, about the holiness of God, the purity of God, reverence for his scriptures, winning souls, multiplying disciples, living for eternity, no matter what it costs me, right? I made a vow to God that I would do that, because even if, people across the camera, they don't understand, right? They will make videos about me until they blue in the face, right? They will pay their bills, right, on slander, the sin of slander, using my name for propaganda, right? They will do that until they blue in their face, right? None of this is going to stop what God has called me to do, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to give an account to them. I'm going to give an account to the one that told me, cry aloud and spare not. Set the bride on fire. Awaken the church in America. That is my charge. And I'm going to do those three things until he comes to get me, or they come and get me, whichever one happens first. That is my responsibility, and I'm not going to back away from that, right? So that is really all what happened to me. I think that's like tattooed to my heart. I tattooed that to my arm, and a man died there, bro.
Wow.
Right, like the old Philip Anthony Mitchell died there, right? I left a man in Israel. I came back a different man. When people see me now, like, no, I didn't just come out of nowhere. And then my platform means nothing if I'm not faithful. No, I've been faithful to Jesus for over 2 decades. I've been faithful to the Lord for over 2 decades. I've been grinding for over 2 decades. I've been in pastoral ministry for 13 years, right? 10 of those years in the dark, and I've tried to quit more times than I can count. Been hurt more times than I can count. Betrayed more times than I can count. Have disappointed Jesus more times than I can count. I am a man that's just trying to hear in the end, well done, right? That's what I'm trying to do. And if God has breathed on 2019 on my life, is to make him known, right? Is to make the cross known, right? It's not for personal self-aggrandizement or any of those things. Like our staff, 2 of them in the room right now, we say all the time, Jesus is building and we're stewarding. That's all we are.
I love that.
Right? I'm not an owner of 2019, right? I'm really just a steward. You are a steward. We're all stewards, right? Because the Lord has told us we're going to give an account, right, for what we're doing right now. So I approach ministry like now as a steward. All of this, man, is for God's glory, right? It's not for mine. Yeah.
So what exactly happened in the Holy Land for you? I hear that all the time. So many people, like, they go to the Holy Land and it just does something to them. But for you, what specifically happened?
In that season, our ministry was maybe about 8 years old. And I think I was pastoring on empty. Right? I spent a lot of time trying to be creative. If I come up with a dope series, I could get more butts and seats. If I had a dope graphic, I could get more butts and seats. And it was starting to become that. How creative can I be? And I had this moment when I realized I'm faithful in my proclamation, but I'm really doing this and I'm empty on the inside. I have no clear sense of identity, no clear sense of direction. So I went to Israel for 10 days. I was fasting and praying, and I said, God, I really need you to meet me here. I need clarity. I need a sense of direction. I need a sense of identity. Like, who am I? I feel like my voice sounds like an amalgamation of men that I admire. I want my own voice. I want to know, what am I supposed to be doing, right? And so I'm there for 10 days. I'm fasting and praying those 10 days. I hear nothing from God, right? I travel the whole nation from the north in the Golden Heights all the way to Jerusalem in the south part of the city. It is the last day of my tour. I have not heard from God. It is December 8th. So it is the day after my birthday, right? It is December 8th. And it is raining, it is cold. And I'm almost upset, like, God, I'm about to leave in a few hours. We're about to hop back on this bus to head back to Tel Aviv. I have not heard from you. We go into the garden tomb. We come out the tomb and I hear singing in a language I did not understand, but I can feel the presence of God, right? And off to my side, I see this group of people, maybe about 30 or 40 of them. They look nothing like me. But I don't care. So I slip into their gathering anyway, and I'm just in the back, and I'm the only black dude in the back, right? It's very obvious I don't belong, right? And I can feel God's presence, and I lift up my hands. I'm worshiping God. My wife creeps in, and then a dude from my bus creeps in, and then this other sister from my bus creeps in. And this was so providential. The guy motions to me to come to the front. I walk to the front. My wife goes, the guy goes, the young lady goes. And he starts speaking to me in a language I did not know. It was Portuguese. By God's divine providence, the gentleman who was with me spoke Portuguese. He was from Brazil, so he starts interpreting what this guy is saying. My wife is watching, she's crying. And then the woman who snuck in with me, she's recording the whole thing. So I have the whole thing. I posted this on my Instagram many years ago. He says to me in his native language, he says, I've been to your nation, and I've seen the church in America. It is dying. It is losing its fire. It is dark. And God says to you, young man, do you want to go back to your nation and do something about it? Right? I cry out to this man. I say, yes. I fall down on my hands and my knees. And then that company of believers, they were from Brazil, I learned, they all laid hands on me. They began to pray for me. My wife is weeping. The other young woman is recording the whole thing. And as he's praying for me, he's charging me. Go back to your country. Cry aloud. Spare not. Set the bride of Christ on fire. Right? So I take that whole encounter, I tattoo the whole thing to my arm. That's this whole sleeve I have is that story, right? From the date, the place, the word that I got, everything. So I tattooed that whole thing to my arm. And the text that I got flying back from Tel Aviv was Isaiah 6. So I put that on the inside of my arm. Wow. You know, some people probably going to crucify you and I because you got a sleeve and I got a sleeve, and they're going to say we're ungodly. But I'm flying back from Tel Aviv. And the thing that marked me on that trip was not only that encounter at the Garden Tomb, but when I was in Jerusalem, I saw a reverence for God I'd never seen inside the United States, amongst the Christians and the Jews, right? For them, faith was not chained to a day of the week. It encompasses every part of their life, right? And so I saw a respect for God and a respect for his word and a reverence for the kingdom I had never seen in the United States. I met a scribe on the top of Mount Masada who was sitting in a cave, and he was copying the Old Testament by hand with ink. He was like in Deuteronomy, and he did that 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And he said to me, if I make one mistake, I have to start the whole thing over. That's how much respect he had for the word of God. And I had never seen anybody with that level of respect for the word of God. So I'm flying back from Tel Aviv and I am convicted. I said, man, I seen a level of respect and honor and reverence for God I had never seen in the United States. There, I saw God as holy for the very first time, like supremely holy. And I feel like the encounter that Isaiah had, he was around your age, Bryce, when Isaiah had that encounter. He was around 20 years of age, because you're 21.
I'm 22.
You're 22. So when you read Isaiah 6, when Isaiah sees the pre-incarnate Jesus, high and exalted, he sees him in his full beauty, and he recognizes his supreme holiness. And against the backdrop of seeing God for who he really is, he saw himself for who he really is, sinful. He saw his nation for what it really was, sinful. And Isaiah's around 20 when he has that encounter. He's around your age. He's around 20 years of age. He's a young man when he has that encounter. That's what happened for me in Israel. I had an Isaiah 6 encounter, right? And so I'm flying back from Tel Aviv. I'm reading through Isaiah 6, and I am conflicted in my soul, right? Once you have been exposed, you cannot be unexposed. You can try to hide it, you could try to suppress it, but it's in there. I had seen God for all of his holiness. I had been marked by that charge that I was given to go back and set the country on fire, to awaken the bride, is what I was told to do. I had been marked by the holiness I saw and the reverence for the scriptures, and I could not be unmarked, right? And so I knew on that 14-hour, 17-hour flight coming back from Tel Aviv, I would never be the same. And I remember when I got home, I took 4 Sundays off from preaching because I said to myself, I can't go back in the pulpit the way that I left.